The stars looked cold and endless. A damaged alien ship floated quietly in deep space. Its lights were dim, its engines were dead. The crew inside had stopped hoping for rescue days ago. The ship was called Valora's Mercy. It was once a peaceful science vessel. But now, it was broken, scarred from a surprise attack by pirates. Its communication system barely worked. Its oxygen levels were falling fast. Inside, the crew moved slowly, tired and scared. Captain Ralvek, tall insectoid from the Trineri species, sat near the control panel. His forearms trembled slightly as he stared at the blank screen. Nothing. No response. No help. He pressed the signal button again. A weak SOS signal went out into the stars. "This is Valora's Mercy," he said in a dry, tired voice. "We are adrift. No power. 21 crew remain. Please, anyone?" There was no answer, only silence. A small voice spoke from behind him. It was Peta, the youngest crew member, a soft-furred creature with wide golden eyes. "Captain," she said, "maybe we should stop trying." Ralvek looked at her. She had been so hopeful in the beginning, always watching the signal light, always asking, "Will someone come today?" Now, even she had given up. Ralvek gave a tired smile. "We keep trying," he said. "Until the last breath." In the medical bay, 2 crew members were coughing. Oxygen was low. The filters were almost dry. Water was being recycled, but it tasted like rust. Zenn, the engineer, had patched every wire, every pipe, every system. But without power, nothing worked. "I can't fix dead things," he muttered, sitting near the warm core, which was now cold. In the dining area, food had turned into small tablets, 1 per person per day. Hunger had made the crew slow, quiet, almost like ghosts. On the bridge, Ralvek stared into space again. He remembered the last day the ship had power. They had sent out a distress call after the attack. Pirates had taken their fuel, their supplies, and even their navigation data. They had hoped the Galactic Alliance would come, but no ship came. No message returned. Then, 1 day ago, something strange happened. The signal light blinked. Only once. Ralvek almost missed it. He ran the system again. The code was old. Very old. Not in the standard galactic format. The letters were strange. The rhythm was odd, but it was a signal. The ship's AI barely worked, but managed to translate part of the message. It said, "Help. Received. Stay alive. We are coming. No ship name." Dote. Just that Zen and others thought it was fake. A glitch. Ralvek wasn't sure. He repeated the message to the crew. Some cried, some smiled. Some didn't believe, but hope returned, just a little. Now, 1 day later, he still floated in silence. Nothing on the sensors, nothing on the screen. Ralvek leaned back in his chair. Maybe it really had been a ghost signal then. The ship trembled very softly. The lights flickered. The crew jumped to their feet. Was it another attack? Peta looked at the ceiling. What was that? Zen ran to the panel. I'm getting a power spike. External. Another tremble. A soft hum. Suddenly, the main screen came alive. A shape was appearing in space. No engine trail. No ID code. It came slowly, huge. Dark and quiet. The crew gasped. It was a ship, but not one they had ever seen. Its body was black like burnt metal. Its front was shaped like a hammer. Weapons lined its sides. Its lights were red, but not angry. Steady. Watching letters glowed on its hull. Not Trinari, not Alliance, not Pirate. Just 3 words. USN Deliverance. No one on the Valoras. Mercy had ever heard of it. Ralvek stood up. His voice shook. "Unknown ship. Prepare for contact." A voice came through their system clear. Calm. Deep. It spoke in a strange tongue, then quickly switched to Galactic Standard. "This is Commander Holt of the United Systems Navy. We received your distress call." Everyone froze. United Systems. Navy. Never heard of it, but that voice sounded real, strong, human. Ralvek swallowed. Who? Who are you? The human voice replied. Just a ship from Earth. We don't leave people behind. The crew looked at each other. Peeta whispered, Earth. That's the death world, right? Zin nodded slowly. They say nothing survives there for long. Outside, mechanical drones detached from the human ship. They floated toward Valora's Mercy. One began attaching power cables. Another started scanning the hull. Energy readings. Rose dot lights came back. Heat returned. Water flowed again. Food packs dropped into the cargo bay. Inside the ship, some crew began to cry. Hope had returned. But no one knew, not yet, that the galaxy would never be the same. Again, because Earth had answered the call and they did not come with empty hands. They came prepared. The alien crew stared in silence. As the human ship came closer, the USN Deliverance moved slowly like a giant in deep space. Its black hull was covered in armor plates. Strange weapons pointed in every direction. It looked like a warship. Or maybe something worse. No one on Valora's Mercy had ever seen a ship like this. Are they going to attack us? Whispered one crew member. Zen, the engineer, shook his head. No, look. Outside, the drones from the human ship were working fast. They connected power cables to the damaged systems. They fixed broken panels. A drone floated inside the cargo. Bayan dropped off sealed crates. Inside them were food packs, water canisters, and medical supplies. A message flashed on the main screen. Do not be afraid. You are safe now. Captain Rolvek tried to stay calm. Open communications. A few seconds later, the screen lit up again. This time, human face appeared. He was a male, strong and serious, wearing black armor with a silver eagle symbol on his chest. Behind him, the ship's bridge looked cold and metallic. Was calm. This is Commander Holt, USN Deliverance. We received your distress signal. We are here to help. Rolvek stepped forward. We don't know who you are. Are you from the Alliance? Holt shook his head. No, we're from Earth. The crew looked at each other. The word Earth made them uncomfortable. Peeta whispered, Isn't that a death world? Ralvek nodded. Yes, a planet with storms, fire, and deadly animals. I thought humans were dangerous. The human on the screen smiled. Just a little. You're not wrong. Earth is a hard place, but it made us strong. We fight for those who can't. Ralvek still looked unsure. Why are you helping us? Commander Holt answered without blinking. Because we can, and because we know what it feels like when no one comes. In the next hours, things changed fast. Power returned to Valora's Mercy. Lights came back. Heat flowed through the cold walls. The water system was restored. Zen worked with a human technician through the console. The human guided him step by step, showing advanced repairs using simple words. I've never seen tech like this, Zen whispered. It's fast, efficient. It looks like it was built for war, but it's saving lives. Peeta sat in the dining room, eating one of the food packs from the human crates. It tasted strange, salty, and thick, but it was better than anything she had eaten in days. Later, Rolvek was invited to the human ship for a brief meeting. He took a small shuttle with 2 guards. When they entered the USN Deliverance, they were scanned, then welcomed by 2 human officers. Everything inside was dark steel and glowing panels. Soldiers walked in silence. Armed but calm. Commander Holt met them on the command deck. I wanted to meet you face to face, he said. We'll protect your ship while you recover. Our engineers will stay in contact. But I also want to warn. Uralvek raised an eyebrow. Warn us. Holt turned to a star map. The reason no one answered your distress call is because something was following you. He pointed at a signal trail, faint but clear. We detected it. Something cloaked. Not from the Alliance. Not from any known empire. Ralvek's eyes widened. You mean they didn't help us because they were afraid? Holt didn't answer directly, but his face said enough. Stay close to us, the human commander said. If anything comes, we'll handle it. Ralvek nodded slowly. He wasn't sure what scared him more, the enemy, or the humans who weren't scared at all. Bach. On Valora's Mercy, the crew began to feel safe again. Peeta watched the drones floating outside, fixing armor panels like tiny bees. She whispered to herself, "They came when no one else did." Zen looked at the energy readings. They gave us power without asking for payment. Other crew members began to talk. About Earth, about humans. Some were still afraid. Others were curious. Why would a Death World species care about us? One asked, Nether replied, "Maybe because they know what pain feels like." Hours later, as the two ships floated side by side, the danger still hidden in space, Commander Holt gave a final message. "We'll escort you until we're sure it's safe, but be ready. If someone was hunting you, they might come back."
Alvek
nodded. "And if they do," Holt smiled again, this time with steel in his eyes. "Then they'll learn what happens when you hunt the wrong survivors." Outside, the USN Deliverance turned slowly, its massive guns now awake and glowing. Faintly, deep in space, something was watching. But this time, Earth was watching back. The stars were quiet, but danger was near. Both ships, Valora's Mercy and the USN Deliverance, floated side by side in deep space. Repairs continued and hope returned to the alien crew. But something felt wrong. Captain Ralvek could feel it in his gut. The silence was too perfect. Inside the human ship, Commander Holt stood before a glowing map. A red circle blinked slowly. "Still no signal ID," said Lieutenant Mayers, a human officer with short blonde hair. "But the pattern is clear. It's following us." Holt nodded. "Keep scanning. Stealth ships don't stay hidden forever." On Valora's Mercy, Zen worked with human repair drones, fixing the outer hull. The human tech was advanced. More than anything he had seen before, but as he checked the systems, he noticed something strange. Captain Zen said through, "We have shadow movement. Our motion sensors are detecting brief flashes, just outside range." Ralvek frowned. "Check again." "I already did. There's something out there, but I can't see it." Ralvek looked toward the dark space beyond the window. A chill ran down his back. In the command room of the human ship, alarms turned yellow, a silent warning. Cloaked vessels. "Possibly more than one," Mayers reported. Commander Holt's voice was calm. "Raise shields, don't fire yet." Crew worked quickly, silent and focused. Earth's Navy didn't panic. They prepared. Peeta was in the crew quarters when the lights flickered again. Not from power loss, but from an outside pulse. She looked out the small window. Her golden eyes widened. "Captain, something's out there," she whispered into her cum. Ralvek rushed to the bridge. The main screen showed space black and empty. But then something shimmered, just for a second, like a shadow behind glass. Then it was gone. Ralvek turned to the human screen. "Commander Holt, it's here, isn't it?" Holt's voice came back immediately.
"Yes, it is."
Not alone. Suddenly, the stars shifted. 3 large shapes appeared, one after the other, dark, silent, deadly. Their hulls were smooth, black like oil. No lights, no signals, no names. One of them began to charge a weapon. A red glow appeared under its belly. "Shields up." Holt shouted. The Deliverance moved fast. For a ship its size, it was like a beast waking up. Its turrets locked on target. Its defense drones spread out like a metal swarm. "Brace for impact," a human voice echoed. A red beam shot from the enemy ship. It hit the human shield and exploded like thunder. The shockwave made Valora's Mercy shake violently. Peeta screamed as she fell from her chair. Ralvek grabbed a handrail, shouting, "Status!" "Damage report." "Minor hull stress," Zen replied. "Shields holding." But the human ship didn't just defend, it answered. Laser cannons fired from the Deliverance fast and sharp. Railguns launched projectiles faster than sound. Missiles flew with deadly precision. The silent attackers dodged, but one of them was too slow. Boom. It exploded into burning pieces, spreading fire across the stars. The other 2 tried to retreat, but human drones followed them like hunters. "Target the engines," Holt ordered. "I want one captured." One enemy ship went dark. Engines. dead. The last one cloaked again and vanished. But the humans had marked its trail. They're faster than we thought, Holt said quietly. But not faster than us. On the alien ship, everyone was in shock. They had seen weapons before. They had seen war. But this was something else. The human ship fought like a storm. No mercy, no fear. Only precision. Ralvek whispered to himself, "How can they be so calm?" Zen replied, "They've fought monsters before." Peta sat on the floor, staring at the screen. "That was the enemy following us?" she asked. "Yes," Ralvek said. "And if the humans hadn't come?" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Everyone knew what would have happened. They would all be dead. Later, Commander Holt sent another message. The enemy was a slaver group. Advanced cloaking. Silent comes. They wait until ships are weak, then they strike. Ralvek nodded. They followed us for days, waiting for us to die. "You're not dying today," Holt replied. "But why help us?" Ralvek asked. "Why risk your ship for strangers?" Holt looked straight into the screen. "Because we know what happens when no one helps." That night, if night could exist. In space, the crew of Valora's Mercy slept for the first time in peace. But in the shadows of space, the cloaked ship escaped, running to warn others. What it would say was unclear, but one message would spread soon across the dark corners of the galaxy: beware the humans. They fight like nothing else we've seen. The silent hours after battle felt heavy. Valora's Mercy was calm. The alien crew worked slowly, tired from fear and sudden hope. Outside their ship, the giant human vessel USN Deliverance floated, like a sleeping beast, awake, alert, and ready, inside the human command deck. Commander Holt was reviewing data with his officers. "One of the enemy ships escaped," said Lieutenant Mayers. "They'll report back to whoever sent them." Holt nodded. "Then they'll return, and next time they won't come quietly." On Valora's Mercy, Captain Ralvek stood at the viewing window with Peta beside him. "You've seen many ships," Peta said softly. "But have you ever seen anything like the humans?" Ralvek shook his head slowly. "No, I've seen strong fleets, brave warriors, but never like this. The humans, they don't just fight. They hunt the enemy." Peta looked down. "Do you think they'll come back?" "Yes," Ralvek said. "The enemy knows we're alive, and now they know Earth is with us." It happened faster than anyone expected. Only a few hours later, warning sirens echoed through both ships. "Enemy. Warp signature." Mayers called out on the human ship. 3? No. 4 ships incoming." Commander Holt stood tall. "Sound battle stations. Shield Valora's Mercy. Prepare all weapons." The stars twisted as 4 enemy vessels dropped from warp. They were bigger than before, heavily armed. And this time, they weren't cloaked. They wanted to send a message. "We are not afraid," but they were wrong. The human ship moved first. Drones flew from its sides, forming a protective wall. Auto turrets tracked targets. Massive guns turned to aim. Target-led ship, Holt ordered. No warnings. No mercy. The first human shot cut through space like fire. One enemy ship took a direct hit and exploded. The others broke formation, firing plasma bolts at full speed. The sky turned into a storm. Valora's Mercy shook under the shockwaves, but the shields held on inside. Alien crew members held onto rails, watching the battle on the screen. "Are we going to die?" someone asked. Zin looked at the display. "If we were alone, yes. But now, the enemy ships focused on the Deliverance. They circled it, launching volleys of plasma and torpedoes. But the human ship was not like theirs. Its armor absorbed hits. Its shields twisted light. Its weapons returned fire with deadly force. 2 more enemy ships were hit, both damaged badly. Then, something new happened. The human ship opened a side bay. From it, a smaller human craft launched fast and "Deadly gunship Valkyrie online," reported Mayers. "Pilot requesting permission to engage." "Permission granted," Holt replied. The Valkyrie darted into battle like a hawk among slow birds. It fired with precision, cutting through enemy armor. One enemy ship tried to escape, but the Valkyrie chased it. The aliens watched as the small ship hunted its prey. Not with rage, but with skill, the final enemy ship tried to ram the Deliverance. Big mistake. Railguns. Full charge, Holt said calmly. The shot blasted straight through the attacker. A clean kill, and then silence returned. The space was full of floating, metal, burning remains. Quiet. The human ship stood untouched in the center of the chaos. Valora's Mercy sent a message. Status. Holt replied. All clear. No human casualties. Enemy destroyed. Ralvek looked around his ship. Some crew members were cheering. Others were crying, not from fear, but from relief. Hope had come with weapons, and Earth had kept its promise. Ours. Later, a strange sound came through the communication lines. A signal. Not human, not Alliance. Enemy language. The AI struggled to translate it, but managed a few words. We did not expect Earth. We retreat. For now. Vec turned to Zen. They're afraid. Zen nodded. They should be. Later, Commander Holt invited Ralvek and Peta aboard the Deliverance again. This time, they walked through the warship with new eyes. They saw soldiers training, engineers, repairing weapons, doctors helping the wounded. Every human moved with purpose, Ralvek said. You fight like machines, but you care like people, Holt replied. That's how Earth made us. We learned to survive the worst, help others do the same. Peta looked around. Are there more ships like yours? Holt smiled slightly. Many, but not all, are close. We answer what we can, Ralvek asked. What happens now? Holt looked at the stars. Now we make sure you reach safety. Then we find out who sent those slavers. We stop them from ever doing this again? Ralvek understood. This was more than a rescue. It was a warning. Not to the aliens, but to the warning. Earth was not silent anymore. The war was over for now. The wreckage of enemy ships floated silently around. Valora's Mercy and the human vessel USN Deliverance. But this time no one panicked. No one feared another attack, because Earth had answered the call. And Earth had one inside the Valora's Mercy. Repairs continued. Life support was fully restored. The crew began eating proper meals. For the first time in weeks, they slept without fear. But something strange had started to happen. Aliens and humans were talking not about war, but about home. Peta sat near the main observation window of the human ship. She was holding a warm drink, something called chocolate, given to her by a kind human doctor. It was sweet, strange, but comforting. Beside her sat Lieutenant Sarah Knox, human security officer with short black hair and a friendly smile. Earth. Sounds like a scary place, Peta said, looking out at the stars. Sarah laughed. It is, but it's also beautiful. Peta tilted her head. How can it be both? Sarah leaned back in her chair. Well, we have volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. But we also have forests, oceans, and sky colors you wouldn't believe. Peta's eyes lit up. What's your favorite, Rain? Sarah said. Smell of it. The sound. You stand under a roof. The world is gray and cold. But the rain, it washes everything clean. Peta smiled softly. I've never seen rain. Maybe one day, Sarah replied. When this is all over, you can visit. In the cargo bay, Zen worked with human engineers. They taught him how to use fusion welders, repair armor plating, and reroute energy through backup coils. He watched, amazed, as one human showed him how to restart a dead engine core using only a battery pack and a strange tool called a jumper. This tech is too advanced, Zen said. Where did your people learn this? The human shrugged. Earth forced us to. Everything on that planet wants to kill you. Storms, beasts, even plants. If you don't build smart, you don't survive. Zen looked at him, and yet you came to help us. We survived, the human replied, but we never forget what it felt like to need help. Zen had no answer, only respect. Captain Ralvek stood in the command room of the Deliverance, speaking with Commander Holt. The star map showed nearby systems, the safe zones, the war zones. And the unknown, Ralvik said. My people always believed Earth was too violent, that humans were too wild. Holt gave a small nod. They're right. We are violent, but only when we have to be. Why? Ralvik asked. What changed you? Holt stared at the screen. Because once, Earth was alone. We begged for help when our first colony was attacked. No one came, not even the Alliance. They said it was too dangerous. He looked Ralvik in the eye. So we made a promise. If we ever had the power, we'd be the ones who answered the calls. Ralvik was silent for a moment. Then he asked, How many calls have you answered? Holt replied, Too many to count. And not all had happy endings. That night, the two crews shared a meal, human rations, alien recipes, a strange mix of spices and smells. They laughed, told stories, shared fears. A human medic showed alien children pictures of Earth animals, lions, bears, elephants. PETA laughed at the size of the elephant. That thing can't be real. The medic grinned. It is. And it's gentle, till it's not. The aliens listened to stories about Earth's wars, Earth's weather, Earth's stubborn people. And they began to understand. Earth wasn't a death world because of its dangers. It was a death world because it made survivors and humans. Were the result of that brutal training, not monsters, just people who refused to give up. Later. In her small sleeping pod, PETA wrote a message to her family, a message she'd never thought she'd send. We were saved. Not by the Alliance. Not by a miracle. By humans. They are fierce, strong, and hard like stone. But inside, they are kind if you ever meet one. Don't run. Just say thank you. In the quiet corner of the human ship, Commander Holt sat alone. He stared at the star map. Another signal blinked. In the distance, weak, just like the one that brought them here. Another call for help. He pressed a button on his console. Plot a course, he said. Another one, Mares asked. Holt gave a small smile. We're Earth. That's what we do. Back on Valora's Mercy, the crew gathered as Ralvek spoke. We thought no one would come, that we were alone in the dark. But then Earth answered. Looked at the glowing screen showing the Deliverance outside. They didn't just give U.S. power. They gave us hope. And in every heart on that ship a seed had been planted, not of fear, but of loyalty to the planet that never forgot. How it felt to be helpless. The war was over for now. The wreckage of enemy ships floated silently. Around Valora's Mercy and the human vessel USN Deliverance, but this time no one panicked. No one feared another attack, because Earth had answered the call, and Earth had won inside the Valora's Mercy. Repairs continued. Life support was fully restored. The crew began eating proper meals. For the first time in weeks, they slept without fear. But something strange had started to happen. Aliens and humans were talking not about war, but about home. PETA sat near the main observation window of the human ship. She was holding a warm drink, something called chocolate, given to her by a kind human doctor. It was sweet, strange, but comforting. Beside her sat Lieutenant Sarah Knox, human security officer with short black hair and a friendly smile. Earth. Sounds like a scary place, PETA said, looking out at the stars. Sarah laughed. It is, but it's also beautiful. PETA tilted her head. How can it be both? Sarah leaned back in her chair. Well, we have volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. But we also have forests, oceans, and sky colors you wouldn't believe. PETA's eyes lit up. What's your favorite, Rain? Sarah said. Smell of it. The sound. You stand under a roof. The world is gray and cold. But the rain, it washes everything clean. PETA smiled softly. I've never seen rain. Maybe one day, Sarah replied. When this is all over, you can visit. In the cargo bay, Zen worked with human engineers. They taught him how to use fusion welders, repair armor plating, and reroute energy through backup coils. He watched, amazed, as one human showed him how to restart a dead engine core using only a battery pack and a strange tool called a jumper. "This tech is too advanced," Zen said. "Where did your people learn this?" The human shrugged. "Earth forced us to. Everything on that planet wants to kill you. Storms, beasts, even plants. If you don't build smart, you don't survive." Zen looked at him. "And yet, you came to help us." "We survived," the human replied, "but we never forget what it felt like to need help." Zen had no answer, only respect. Captain Ralvek stood in the command room of the Deliverance, speaking with Commander Holt. The star map showed nearby systems, the safe zones, the war zones. "And the unknown," Ralvik said. "My people always believed Earth was too violent, that humans were too wild." Holt gave a small nod. "They're right. We are violent, but only when we have to be." "Why?" Ralvik asked. "What changed you?" Holt stared at the screen. "Because once, Earth was alone. We begged for help when our first colony was attacked. No one came, not even the Alliance. They said it was too dangerous." He looked Ralvik in the eye. "So we made a promise. If we ever had the power, we'd be the ones who answered the calls." Ralvik was silent for a moment. Then he asked, "How many calls have you answered?" Holt replied, "Too many to count. And not all had happy endings." That night, the two crews shared a meal, human rations, alien recipes, a strange mix of spices and smells. They laughed, told stories, shared fears. A human medic showed alien children pictures of Earth animals, lions, bears, elephants. PETA laughed at the size of the elephant. "That thing can't be real." The medic grinned. "It is. And it's gentle, till it's not." The aliens listened to stories about Earth's wars, Earth's weather, Earth's stubborn people. And they began to understand something. Earth wasn't a death world because of its dangers. It was a death world because it made survivors, and humans were the result of that brutal training, not monsters, just people who refused to give up. Later, in her small sleeping pod, PETA wrote a message to her family, a message she'd never thought she'd send. We were saved. Not by the Alliance. Not by a miracle. By humans. They are fierce, strong, and hard like stone. But inside, they are kind. If you ever meet one, don't run. Just say thank you. In the quiet corner of the human ship, Commander Holt sat alone. He stared at the star map. Another signal blinked in the distance. Weak. Just like the one that brought them here. Another call for help. He pressed a button on his console. "Plot a course," he said. "Another one." Mayers asked. Holt gave a small smile. "We're Earth. That's what we do." Back on Valora's Mercy, the crew gathered as Ralvak spoke. "We thought no one would come, that we were alone in the dark." Then Earth answered. He looked at the glowing screen showing the Deliverance outside. "They didn't just give us power, they gave us hope." And in every heart on that ship, seed had been planted, not of fear, but of loyalty, to the planet that never forgot how it felt to be helpless. The damaged station was now dust. The slavers were gone. And the two ships, Valora's Mercy and USN Deliverance, floated silently once more. But this silence felt different. It wasn't fear, it was respect. The alien crew had seen humans fight. They had seen them bleed. But now, they wanted to understand them. What made humans this way? Why were they so strong, yet so willing to protect others? PETA sat beside Ramirez, the human soldier who had saved her life. They were in the Deliverance's rest bay, sipping hot drinks. She finally asked the question she had held in her heart. "Why does your ship have so many weapons? You're not part of the Alliance. You're not conquerors." Ramirez looked at her, quiet for a moment. "Because this ship was never meant for war," he said. "It was a rescue ship. It's built to help colonies. Then why the weapons? He looked at the floor, because once we were too late. In the ship's command room, Commander Holt stood with Captain Ralvek, showing him a video. The screen showed a burned-out colony. Ruins, fires, children crying. 20 years ago, Holt explained. This colony sent an SOS. No one came. Ralvek was silent. The images on the screen were hard to watch. We were still new to space back then, Holt continued. We didn't have ships like this. Begged the Alliance for help. He said it was outside their zone. Ralvek looked away. Sorry. Holt's eyes were cold. We stopped begging. We started building. He tapped the side of the Deliverance's display. This ship was born from that loss. The weapons, the armor, the speed. All of it, to make sure we're never too late. Again, Pita and Ramirez walked through the memorial room deep inside the Deliverance. It was quiet, filled with names carved into the walls. Thousands. Who are these? She asked. People we couldn't save, Ramirez said. Every rescue ship in the fleet has a wall like this. We don't forget. Pita ran her fingers across the names. I didn't know humans remembered this deeply. We remember everything, Ramirez said. That's why we fight so hard. On Valora's Mercy, word spread of the truth. The human ship had not always been a warship. It was made to carry supplies, give aid and rescue those in need. But because of what the galaxy did, or didn't do, humans changed. They became something more, something feared, something unstoppable. Not because they were born that way, but because pain had taught them to never allow it again. Zen asked one of the engineers, Don't you get tired? Always running, always fighting, always answering calls that aren't yours, the engineer shrugged. Sometimes, but we know something important. What's that? That the next call could be ours? And we'd want someone to come. Zen nodded slowly. It made sense. Harsh, real, powerful. Ralvek looked out the window at the black void of space. He remembered how it felt, floating helpless, waiting for death. And now he knew, if Earth had never come, no one else would have. He spoke to his crew. We believed in the Alliance. We trusted their rules. But it was Earth, the forgotten planet, that saved us. Not once, but again and again. He paused. We must tell others the truth about humans, about how they answer cries, even when they are not called, Pita added. They don't do it for power. They do it because they know what it feels like to suffer alone. And everyone nodded. Commander Holt met Ralvek one last time before departure. We found the last safe zone. One jump away, Holt said. There you'll be protected. You'll find other survivors, other ships we've rescued. Was silent, then asked softly, How many of you are there? How many Earth ships fly like this? Holt gave a half-smile.
More than you'd expect.
Less than we need. Ralvek stepped forward. You said you answer every call you can. But who answers yours? Holt looked at the stars. We do. That was all he said. And it was enough. As Valora's Mercy prepared to jump to the safe zone, the crew sent one final message to the galaxy. To anyone still listening, if you are afraid, if you are lost, call for Earth. They will come. Not because they are perfect, but because they remember what it means to be forgotten. And with that, they jumped away, leaving behind a ship forged in pain, manned by humans built by struggle, carrying a purpose as sharp as any weapon. Answer every call, no matter the cost. The stars spun gently around Valora's Mercy as the ship exited its final jump. Before them floated a quiet system to planets, a red sun, and a group of peaceful ships parked near a blue moon. These were not warships. They were refugee vessels, old freighters, mining transports, and broken fleets once left to die, now rescued. The humans had been busy. They had saved more than anyone thought. Zen looked at the ships through the viewport. There are so many, Pita whispered. They all lived because Earth came. Captain Ralvek stood behind them, arms folded. We are not the only ones. He tapped the coms. This is Valora's Mercy to Rescue Fleet Command. We were saved by the USN Deliverance, requesting entry and shelter. A voice replied instantly. Welcome. Coordinates received. You are under Earth protection now. Ralvek didn't smile often. But today, he did. In orbit above the moon, several human ships were docked. Not just military, but supply carriers, med ships, even a school vessel. People moved between them on small shuttles, exchanging goods, ideas, and stories. When Valora's Mercy docked, they were greeted not by soldiers, but by people, engineers, doctors, farmers, teachers. And they all had one thing in common. They were from Earth, and they had chosen to come. Commander Holt met them on the docking platform. You made it, he said. Ralvek nodded. Because of you. Not just me, Holt replied. Because of everyone who remembers what it means to be left behind. We gestured to the large structure behind him, a huge circular station in orbit, glowing softly. We call it Haven, Holt said. Built from old ships, parts, and pieces. It's not perfect, but it's safe. Peta's eyes sparkled. Can we stay? You can live, Holt said, not just survive. In the following days, the crew of Valora's Mercy walked freely. Through Haven, they saw alien families reunited, children laughing, ships being repaired, people of all species working side by side, and everywhere they went, there were humans, helping, teaching, protecting. Peta spoke with a human teacher named Ellen. She was organizing a learning center for alien children who had never seen a school. We teach basics first, Ellen said, then languages, then survival. Skills? Why survival? Peta asked. Ellen looked serious. Because this galaxy doesn't wait. It breaks the weak. We want to make the weak stronger. Peta nodded. She understood. She had once been weak too. Zen joined a team of mixed engineers, learning how to combine alien tech with human designs. Together, they built stronger shields, better engines, and smarter defenses. They don't hide their knowledge, Zen said. They share it. One old human technician smiled. If we share strength, we all last longer. Ralvek was invited to speak at the central chamber, a circular room filled with captains, commanders, and leaders from many worlds. He told the story of how his ship had nearly died in space, how no one came, except Earth. They didn't come for glory, Ralvek said. They came because they remember the cold, the silence, the feeling of being forgotten. He paused, then added, Once feared Earth, now I ask, how can we be more like them? The room was silent for a moment, then it erupted in applause. Not for him, but for the idea that Earth had changed the galaxy, not with power, but with purpose. Commander Holt stood beside Ralvek after the speech. You've seen what we do? Holt said. Ralvek nodded. And I want to help. Then rebuild your ship, Holt said. Join the effort. Be the ones who answer next time. You'd trust us to do that? Holt smiled faintly. We were alone once. Then others came. Not enough, but some. He looked at the stars. You're one more, that's how it begins. Peta and Ramirez sat one last time in the quiet garden. Dome of Haven, a peaceful spot filled with earth plants, soft lights, and a fake breeze. Are you leaving again? She asked. Ramirez nodded. We got another call. Colony no one has heard from in months. Dangerous always? She looked down. He placed a hand gently on her shoulder. But now you're safe. That's what matters. She looked up. Next time, I'll be the one who comes. Ramirez smiled, and we'll fight side by side. Valora's Mercy stayed at Haven to upgrade, repair, and train. But its heart had changed. It was no longer a science vessel. It was something more. A ship that knew the pain of silence and the power of answering a call, and far away. Across the galaxy, in the dark corners where slavers and monsters ruled, whispers spread again. Not of fear, but of warning. If you attack the weak, if you hunt the helpless, you may hear engines in the dark, and when they arrive, you'll see the flag of Earth.